Today we're going to talk about a brief history of Assemblies of God missions. And so at the First General Council in Hot Springs, Arkansas in April 1914, a group of 300 pastors came together and decided that they wanted to unite and collaborate on a couple of key things. One of those key things was cooperating together in missions to advance the gospel of Christ throughout the world. And so the heart that they had was this: to be the greatest evangelism that the world has ever seen. This statement was uttered at the Second General Council in Chicago in November of 1914. And they wanted to have a holistic missions attitude. And this means not just preaching the gospel, but encountering and working with the physical need of the people. And early in the history of the Assemblies of God, there were a couple of missionaries who were already doing this. Some examples of that are Lillian Thrasher, who had an orphanage in Egypt, and the Mission of Mercy Hospital in Kolkata, India. They also wanted to reach unreached people groups. And what this simply means is there are groups that will most likely never hear the gospel if someone isn't sent to them because they have no access to it. And they wanted to establish the indigenous church. This came a little bit further down the line, but the idea was adopted that they wanted to create churches wherever they went, whether those churches be planted in the USA or around the world, that those churches could govern themselves, that they could support themselves, and they could multiply themselves to advance the kingdom of God. In 1937, the AG U.S. Missions Department was created. And over the years that has developed, and now they have what they call 7 windows to target the different diverse and ethnic subcultures inside of the U.S. And each of these 7 windows targets a different demographic all across the different groups in the United States. The heart of the Assemblies of God missions was always for the local church to partner in missions to advance the kingdom. And that happens in a few different ways, and they have developed over the entire history of the Assemblies of God. And one of those is Mission Sunday. Most churches have established the first Sunday of the month as Mission Sunday, where they highlight a world mission or U.S. missions effort to keep missions on the forefront of their congregation's mind. Missions conventions have become increasingly popular in the past few years, and they seek to educate congregations about missions. They seek to motivate people to give to missions and for missions, to spread the gospel, and to dedicate to missions. And a lot of times those missions conventions will culminate in what they call Faith Promise Sunday. And this is an opportunity for congregants to get involved in giving and commit to it. And it is important to note that giving is sometimes based according to ability, but sometimes it's based beyond your ability. So congregants are encouraged to listen to what God would have them give and would have them sacrifice to be involved. The other way that local churches partner with missions is to get their students, both young and older students, involved in missions giving. The youth do that through a program called Speed the Light. It was established in 1944, and all funds given to Speed the Light go to purchase things that directly are related to evangelism. And some of those things are broadcasting materials, they're vehicles to get to remote places, and sometimes they're animals like donkeys to get to those remote places. Anything that it takes to bring the gospel to places where it hasn't been before. And the younger students are involved in what was, when it was first known as Boys and Girls Missionary Crusade. Now we call it Boys and Girls Missionary Challenge. And the goal of BGMC is to challenge kids and churches to get involved, to challenge churches to teach their kids about missions, and to challenge kids to pray, to give sacrificially. And the funds from BGMC provide whatever is needed to advance the gospel. No matter where you are in the Assemblies of God, how old you are, the heart of it all is to be Assemblies of God, is to embrace missions.